Hi, welcome back to Bride Society. I'm Rebecca and this is Laura.
If you're watching this video, it probably means that your wedding date is coming up quite soon. So we're here to help you with everything you need to do as soon as all the celebrations are over. You've had your wonderful day and then you've got to think about what next. What are those jobs I need to tick off the list immediately and a little bit after the wedding date. So we're here with your post-wedding to-do list.
Indeed, yes, because it doesn't all magically stop the second you actually get married, even though it's very tempting because all the focus is on the day, right? But there's actually some post-wedmin, as Laura was saying. And I believe the most important one of all the post-wedmin jobs is that I think basically at the end of the night after the wedding is to remember to take home the cake.
Yeah.
I think that's highly important.
If you have leftovers, yes.
If you have leftovers, but you know, that is important. But alongside that is also, making arrangements with your venue as to when you can come back to collect any items, decorations, that kind of thing from the venue, because they might have a specific time they need it out by, or when someone's gonna be there to greet you, that kind of thing. So yes, be aware of that if you're planning to go away on honeymoon immediately after, or you're making other plans for the next day. It's just something to bear in mind that that's an arrangement you're going to need to make.
Yeah, and hopefully they will have communicated that maybe already, or they will easily be able to communicate with that.
Yes, they will have. They'll be very familiar with the situation, obviously, but yeah, just get that information from them.
Yeah. So something else to do kind of immediately after the wedding is if you've had floral arrangements, so centerpieces, bouquets, things like that. If you're thinking of, well, what do we do with all these flowers post-wedding? I don't want them all in my house. Think about distributing them maybe to guests who stay right until the end of the night. If you have small arrangements, you can tell some select people they can take those home with them. Or you could also think about donating them to somewhere like a nursing home or a care home, so the residents can enjoy the flowers there and give them a bit of a longer life of enjoyment.
Yeah, flatten the place up.
Yeah.
And if you have any outstanding payments left to suppliers, venues, that kind of thing, obviously make sure those are in hand and ready to be sent out. And if beforehand you can make that list for yourself, so you're not trying to scramble to think about these things in the aftermath when you're still on this like wedding high. You're trying to think about things. It's probably unlikely that there'll be outstanding payments at that point. Most suppliers maybe have had 50% at booking, and then at some point in the kind of immediate run up they're asking for the remainder, but obviously just something to be mindful of.
Yeah, and if you've hired any items, so either like decor pieces, cake stand, or even suits, obviously they need to be returned. So again, something to think about if you're going away immediately on honeymoon, if you can nominate somebody else to return those for you, or to organise a day with the various suppliers who you need to get things back to when you can do that, because a lot of them, written in the contract, they'll have a particular time frame that those things need to be returned.
Then thank yous, so those thank you letters for any wedding gifts you might have received. And even if you feel like some of your suppliers have done a particularly great job, sometimes people send thank you letters out to those people as well. Like your wedding dress fitters were particularly awesome, you want to let them know. It's just sometimes a nice touch. And quite often what I've seen is quite a nice thing is that sometimes people wait for the wedding photographs to come back and maybe turn one of those into sort of a postcard essentially for the thank you note to kind of go on, so that can be quite a nice touch. You've probably got, what kind of window would you say is like the polite window to get your thank yous in?
Well, I think technically it's 12 months in like going on like traditional etiquette, but maybe sooner than that.
I would feel if you crossed 3 months you may be pushing it a bit. Obviously like people are not expecting you to get it before you've gone off on like honeymoon if you're doing that in the afternoon. You know, don't sit there like in the airport writing them. But yeah, there's obviously a polite window of time.
And if you were particularly kind of adventurous in your wedding outfits, they might, or even just spilt some food down, you might want to get your outfits dry cleaned, and there are specialist kind of, if you wear a wedding dress, like wedding dress dry cleaners who know what they're doing with the bridal outfits, really, maybe more so if your high street dry cleaners hasn't had to kind of clean many of them. I think it's a bit more intricate process. I'm not entirely sure what the process is, but there are specialist dry cleaners for like wedding dresses, so just think about where you want to send something that you potentially spent a lot of money on. And also then, so once you've got that back, decide how you're storing the dress if you're keeping it. So there's different ways to keep it in pristine condition, or if you're donating it or selling it on afterwards. So just think about that once it's been cleaned.
Yes, weigh up your options. Yeah, or if you're turning it into something else as well. Yes, and then the time-consuming task of changing your name, if that's something you're doing. Obviously you might not be. It does take a surprising amount of time, and for the life of me I don't understand why there's not like a central system where you can like put in your change of name and with your marriage document and that it trickles through. There just isn't. So this will be an ongoing process from your passport to your nectar card or whatever else there is. I'd suggest making a list and just working through it, because there's no two ways, it's going to take some time.
It is. One way to speed up the process is you can get duplicate copies of your marriage certificate, can't you? I think that are accepted, because a lot of places,
some, not all,
will only accept the original copy of your marriage certificate. So if you're having to send that off, say with your passport documents, you then have to wait for that to come back before you can move on to the next thing. And finally, if you're thinking you might want to make some money back on your wedding after you've blown the budget on the big day, then you can think about selling maybe some of the things if you had particular like decor items. As we said before, your dress maybe, just anything and everything that you want to part with. You can try different like Facebook groups or Facebook Marketplace, Gumtree, just so someone else again can get a second life out of these items.
Makes it a bit greener.
So
we hope that's helpful and give you something to like think about and feel a bit better about like what's coming. If there's anything you feel we've missed out, please add it in the comments below and help out the other bride and grooms to be. We hope you liked it. If you do, please hit the like button, hit subscribe, and we will see you next time.